What's going on, Jerome's? So, minicamp is in the books. The Vikings are on vacation for the next 5 to 6 weeks before the start of training camp. But, of course, take a look at the 53-man rooster projection as well as practice squad, even though, yes, training camp ain't here. Don't worry about it. Let's get this thing on. So we got 25 offense, 25 defense, 3 specialists, and 16 plus 1 on the practice squad, which we'll get into. Quarterbacks keeping 3 on the 53, Cousins, Mullins, and Jaron Hall. Now, if Jaron Hall is still relatively inert, which he has been during OTAs and minicamp, I could be persuaded to put him on the practice squad. I think that you could get him through waivers initially, and then you could protect him, protect up to 4 practice squad players indefinitely. So you could save a roster spot there. But Cousins and Mullins, I think right now are 1-2. Now this could change certainly. Jaron Hall having himself a good training camp and preseason could change that. Running backs wise, so also note the Vikings currently only have 89 players on the 90-man rooster after the release of Dalvin Cook. They haven't filled that spot yet. But Madison, Chandler, Ngwangu, as well as rookie Dwayne McBride at running back, going 4 deep at tailback. CJ Ham at fullback, as well as Zach Ojili on the practice squad as they look to the next generation. Vikings always love themselves a fullback. It's weird, man. Then wide receivers keeping 5 on the 53, 3 on the practice squad. So the 5 are Jefferson, Addison, KJ Osborne, Jalen Naylor, pretty much cemented as a wide receiver 4 after a very impressive offseason. Then Brandon Powell, we gave the nod over guys like Jalen Reagor or Blake Prohl, etc., because Powell's experience with Kevin O'Connell as well as his return ability, I think, give him the nod here. Practice squad. So Thayer Thomas has looked good working with the 2s, as well as he does have that punt return flexibility, which you do love to see. Tristan Jackson has had himself a very nice OTA. I think he's been working with the 1s with absences early of Jefferson, Addison being held out with an injury, and he's made the most of it. And also, Lucky Jackson, XFL superstar coming on in, and I think that he claws and finds himself a practice squad spot. Cut Garrett Mogg, local product, Cepheus Johnson III. I mean, we haven't seen anything of the Taysom Hill potential Wildcat role. Maybe he would just be a wide receiver. Who knows? Jalen Reagor, even though Jalen has $2 million and change fully guaranteed on the back end of his rookie deal, I don't know. Is that enough to hold other guys that are younger and have more potential at bay? Who knows? But also don't discount that Kwesi did make the trade for Jalen Reagor, and if he turns around and cuts him with guaranteed money left on his deal, that could be embarrassing, but who knows? Malik Knowles, I have high hopes for, but he's been injured, hasn't really done anything as of yet. But of course, that all could change in training camp. Blake Prohl, I think it's a toss-up between Tristan Jackson, and Blake Prohl. I think they'll keep one of them, and as of right now, I think that the nod goes to Tristan. Tight ends, Hawkinson, you got Josh Oliver, you got Johnny Munt as your 1-2-3 win-play show on the 53. And then you got Nick Muse, last year's 7th-round pick out of South Carolina, come on and raise up as the practice squad tight end. And cut is blocking rookie UDFA Ben Sims. Offensive line, keep a 9, feeling fine. Left to right, Darisaw, Ezra, Bradbury, Ingram, and O'Neal are your starters. They got Blake Brandel, Austin Schlutman, Chris Reed, and Oli Udoh as your 4 reserves. Now, you could convince me, especially since they've been experimenting with Brandel as second-team left guard, that you could swap out veteran Chris Reed and rookie Vidarian Lowe, who's also gotten some looks on the first and second team. You could convince me of that. But also I got Jackie Chen. I can't go against my guy. As well as Josh Sokol. Last year's UDFA spent the entire season on the practice squad. The Pride of Sacred Hat. Alan Ali and Sam Schluter are going to be cut in this spot. To the defense. Keeping 6 defensive linemen. Left to right, you got Bullard, Phillips, Lowry, Jaquelin Roy, Kairos Tonga, and Nasezi Otamuo. Now, Bullard is back. Does he hang on to that starting spot? I think Bullard either starts or he's cut. One of the 2 spots. It's kind of a weird dynamic there. But Jaquelin Roy getting some run with the 1s. Love to see that. Asazio Tamo, last year's 5th-round pick from the Gophers, I think deserves a lot more playing time. Kairos Tonga is a really nice true zero-tech 3-4 nose tackle, which is great. And then 2 on the practice squad, TJ Smith, as well as Calvin Avery. Speaking of true nose tackles, the pride of Illinois, an absolute rock, could be there on the practice squad. A cut, James Lynch. I know James Lynch has had a number of opportunities, just hasn't really found his footing quite yet. Ross Blacklock, even though, yes, Kwesi did trade for him, the former 2nd-round pick from TCU by way of the Texans. And Sheldon Day not making this 53-man roster projection. And then into the edge rusher room, you got Danielle Hunter. Pay Danielle, take care of him, whatever you need to do. He's still elite at his position, and I think that in Flores' defense, he's going to be legit. So you got Danielle, you got Davenport, you got DJ 1 on Patrick Jones 2nd, and Andre Carter the 2nd as your 5 on the 53. Junior Aho coming in from SMU. Now, he is the international pathway player, would not count towards the 16 on the practice squad, so hanging on to him makes sense. Luigi Villain, last year's UDFA, coming out of Wake Forest, ends up on the practice squad this season. He was on the 53 all last year, and the Weaver and Whitley no-go. Off-ball linebackers, you got Asamoah, Jordan Hicks, Troy Dye, and Ivan Pace Jr. So keeping 4 on the 53, and then you got Kwenku and Reader on the practice squad. Of course, you could call them up for special teams duty from week to week. Cut the 2 UDFAs, Abraham Beauplan, as well as Wilson Huber, Ivan Pace Jr.'s teammate at the University of Cincinnati. I think Pace is going to impress. I think that they're gonna let him rip, and I think that he's gonna be a guy that's really gonna be a name to watch in training camp and preseason. Then cornerback room, keeping 5. Murphy, Evans, Blackman, who I think is going to be your starting 3. And then you got Booth and Joanne Williams, the former 2nd-round pick from Vanderbilt from the Patriots that they signed as a free agent, rounds out the 5. Practice squad, Kalam Barnes, the speedster, as well as Tay Gowan, the pride of UCF. 2 in the practice squad, and then released are the handful of UDFAs. John Reed's not a UDFA, but Colden Williams Thompson, as well as John Reed, let go. And then for safety-wise, so given the dynamic of Flores' defense, where he loves multiple safety looks, that's why they're keeping 10 DBs. I understand that's a little bit much. It's usually 9, usually 5 corners and 4 safeties, but it's a new world, man. So Harrison, Bynum, Metellus, I think those are going to be your starting 3. I think Lewisine is going to be worked in there as well. Plus, you got the rookie Jay Ward, who I think is going to be a special team standout to start. And also, last year's special team standout, Theo Jackson, the pride of Tennessee, ends up on the practice squad. And then 3 specialists, Joseph Wright and Apollo. The rookie Jack Podlesny from Georgia hasn't looked great so far, so he ends up being cut. Taking a look at the practice squad. So it would be Thayer Thomas, Tristan Jackson, Lucky Jackson, the 3 receivers. And then you have Zach Ogili, Nick Muse, Vidarian Lowe, Jackie Chen, Josh Sokol on the offense. Defensively, Smith, Avery, Villain, Kwenku, Reader, Kalam Barnes, Tay Gowan, Theo Jackson, and Junior Aho are your 17 with the International Pathway Program player. So you have 17 on the practice squad. But that's it. Take a look at the Vikings 53-man rooster projection right after minicamp. Let us know your thoughts on our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.